Hey everybody, I'm Josh Mendick from Air Advisor Heating and Cooling, and today I'm going to be going over some common things you can check if your heating and air conditioning turns off. First, I want to talk about the most common and most basic thing, which is going to be your thermostat. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check your thermostat, and you're going to want to make sure you're actually calling for cooling. So there's going to be a solid bold number somewhere around mid-screen. That's usually going to be your household temperature. The temperature, what it is inside the actual room, and then there's going to be a smaller set temperature that when you push the up and down buttons for temperature, it's actually going to adjust. Naturally, in cooling, you want to make sure that temperature is set lower than the room temperature, and you want to make sure somewhere on the screen it's displaying cool on. You want to make sure that the cool on is not flashing or doing anything like that, but rather just in bold print, cool on. Also, you want to go inside the system. There's going to be a system button somewhere on your thermostat, and you want to continue to push that system button until it's in the cooling mode. If your thermostat's programmable, you want to make sure your thermostat's in a permanent hold and that the thermostat itself is not in some kind of program mode where it's taking over into a schedule and setting the temperature based on that and having almost a mind of its own. So those are just a few key points to check on a thermostat that could be your issue. Sounds really simple, but we see those mistakes all the time. Next thing you want to do with your thermostat, if it is set properly, is you just kind of want to check and see what's actually running and what's actually not. So on your thermostat, there's going to be a fan mode. You're going to see an option that says fan. You're going to want to keep pushing it until it says fan on. And then you're going to want to walk over to your registers and feel the vents to see if there's any airflow coming out. If there's no airflow coming out, that's a sign that either your fan's not operating at all, or it could be that there's a blockage inside your system, such as ice buildup. And after you verify that the cool is in the on position as far as the system settings that we talked about earlier, then you want to make your way outside and you want to take a look at your outdoor air conditioner. You want to see if the fan's spinning. There's also a large refrigerant line that comes off it that's wrapped in black insulation. If you kind of just want to take your fingertips and feel that large line and see if it's getting cold or sweating, that's something else you can do. If that line's doing nothing at all and that fan's not spinning, then it appears that your outdoor unit is not functioning at all, which could be numerous different problems. You're going to want to definitely call a company if you see those issues. Also with the indoor as well, if your fan's not running, or you go downstairs and you hear your system running but you don't feel any air coming out of the vents, that's when you want to stop and call a company, because you could have ice buildup or a burned out fan motor or something along those lines. So you're going to want to call a professional at that point. Next really simple thing is you're going to want to go to your breaker panel and you're going to want to check the breakers. I know this sounds really simple and you're thinking it's very easy to see if there's a breaker that's off, but actually it can get a little bit tricky. Most times when a tripper breaks, the breaker doesn't completely trip. It'll just little bit partially trip to kill power. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to actually find the AC breaker. You're going to have to physically turn it all the way off, and then you're going to have to physically turn it all the way back on. Now, if you do that and your air conditioner comes on and everything starts running, you're still going to want to have a technician come out and at least just take a look to make sure that all your motors and your system's okay. If you have some kind of internal problem, this might just buy you a little bit of time in comfort while you're waiting for the company to come out. But I would still definitely recommend you have a professional come out and take a look at your system. The next really simple thing that we see all the time is the emergency switches at the top of your basement stairs. A lot of times when a child or even an adult, when they're coming up the stairs and they're turning out the lights and they're kind of fumbling around on the wall to feel the light switch, a lot of times they accidentally hit the emergency switch that kills the power to the furnace downstairs. Now, yes, the furnace is connected to the air conditioner. They are interrelated. So if you do kill the power on that switch, you will kill the power to your furnace, which will not allow your AC to run. So you're going to want to look at that. You're going to want to look at the top of your stairs. You're going to want to make sure it's in the on position, of course. If you don't have one at the top of your stairs, I have seen occasions in ranch homes where the emergency switch is actually inside of a laundry room. They usually have a red cover, and it's usually very clearly displayed emergency switch. But some homeowners, after you buy a home, you buy a new home, some previous homeowners didn't like the way that the big red switch looked on the wall, so they'll change it out for a normal light switch cover, which makes it even more complicated. But just definitely go around and check and make sure that all those switches in those locations are on to see if it turns your system back on. And last but not least, the last simple thing that you can check before you make any phone calls to a technician are go downstairs to the furnace, and right on the side of the heater, there's usually an emergency kill switch for the technicians when they're doing work. It's going to look like a regular light switch, and it's mounted right to the side of the heater. So you're going to want to make sure that that switch is also in the on position. Don't just look at it as the switch being up, assuming that it's on. Actually get a flashlight, look at the physical switch, and make sure it says on when you have it in the appropriate position, just to make sure that whoever put it on didn't put it upside down and get lazy and never flipped it back up the right way. And another really simple thing that you can check, but it's a little bit more uncommon, is if you're still not getting the unit to come on, you can always check the front door of the unit. If the front door of the furnace is not snugly up and latched in 100%, that would definitely cause a power issue, because there's a safety door switch inside the furnace that would not allow power to work. And that's it, guys. That's a little rundown of just basic little things that you can check to make sure that you're not going to have a silly little nuisance breakdown, which happens quite often, to be honest with you. So again, a little recap of everything is you want to double check your thermostat. You want to make sure it's in all the appropriate settings. If it is, then you want to turn the fan to the on position on your thermostat, and just verify that you're getting no air coming out of your vents when you're forcing the fan on. After that, you want to go outside. You want to check the outdoor unit, and you want to see if it's actually turning on and doing anything. And you want to check that big, large suction line that's got the black insulation on it. You just want to touch it with your fingertips, see if it's sweating or getting cold or doing anything. After that, you want to check the breakers. You want to find the AC. You want to fully turn off, fully turn on. And then you want to do the same thing with the furnace. Fully turn off, fully turn on, just to make sure that you're resetting them properly. Now, if you've just had a really bad lightning storm or something really bad where lightning has struck very close to your house and you're having a bunch of electrical issues in your house, then do not touch anything. Just be safe. Call a professional in. I've seen cases where really bad electrical storms have melted wiring inside the electrical panel, and the entire panel was actually live with electricity. So be very careful when you're touching anything in your electrical panel, especially if there was a big storm or something out of the ordinary. If you don't feel comfortable, again, call a technician right away. Have them come out and check and just let them know what's going on. But if you are comfortable, it's completely up to you. Do at your own risk. Check those breakers. And then the emergency switch, don't forget to check the emergency switch at the top of the basement stairs. That's a big one. And then that red emergency switch could also be hidden inside of a laundry room. I've seen that a couple times. And then last but not least, check the power switch on the side of the furnace itself. And don't forget to check the front door of the furnace to make sure it's 100% secured on. And that's it, guys. That's a basic rundown of everything, again, that you can check to avoid a little nuisance breakdown. If you don't feel comfortable with any of those and you want a professional to come out and look, then to be honest, there's many other things that can go wrong than just these. This is just the tip of the iceberg as far as what's checked when you have a professional out. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this helps you out. I hope this helps you avoid a nuisance breakdown so you don't have to pay a dispatch fee for a technician to come out. And I appreciate you watching. And make sure you tune into our next video as we give tech tips and give homeowners help or reviews on products and services. Thanks a lot. Bye.